Hey everyone, this is Royal with Paternity University. This is the Skills Make You Meals podcast. I'm here with brother Jalen Clark. 1/4, 1/4 portion of the amazing Black Wealth Renaissance podcast. How you doing, Jalen?
What's up? What's up, man? I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. It's Saturday. I'm living life and I'm here enjoying it. Yeah, amazing life.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. So we're gonna talk about your journey into what you're doing now and what
Mhm.
led you up to this point. But first, give us a little bit of background about yourself.
A little bit of background about myself. As you stated, my name is Jalen. I'm from a small town in Louisiana. It's called Opelousas, Louisiana. If you're familiar with it, if you know where it's at, shout out to you. If not, it's about 15 minutes, 20 minutes north of Lafayette, about 45 minutes west of Baton Rouge. Um, I'm the oldest of five siblings on my mom's side, three on my dad's side. Uh, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a, really just helpful guy. I have a business, as you mentioned, named Black Wealth Renaissance, where we teach people about financial literacy. A passion of mine, really just showing people that there is different ways to make it out of any situation that you come from. You don't have to be a dope boy, athlete, entertainer, just to make some money and make a difference in your life.
Facts. You don't got to be a dope boy to have money. The words
Yeah.
of Ti in the movie Atlanta for sure. So tell us about your college experience, man, and kind of up until the point where you started Black Wealth Renaissance. Were you deeply into financial literacy and trying to help others learn that at that time, or were you kind of just kind of absorbing it yourself?
Oh, honestly, so college was an interesting experience. I went to school in 2013. I graduated high school 2013, and I was not financially literate. Uh, it wasn't until my senior year of college, really like junior year going into senior year that summer, I finally checked my credit score because I pledged Alpha Phi Alpha. And my line brother, he was talking about his credit score. He's like, "Yeah, man, my credit score great. I'm about to crack a 700 credit score." I was like, "Okay, let me see what mine's at, dog." So I ended up, I think I got on Credit Karma or something like that. My shit was like a 540. I said, "Yo, what's going on?" I can curse too, right? Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
ain't
you
gonna
good,
lie
you
to you,
good.
man.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on?" So I started doing some digging, some deep, and like digging deep and pulled my credit report and seeing what happened. And I realized that whenever I was younger, my mom took a, a cable bill out of my name, and
mm,
she ended up not paying it, and there was a balance due, and that was hurting my credit score. Besides that, I didn't have any positive credit. So I went researching. I was like, okay, how'd you get your credit score to almost 700 credit score? What were you doing? He's like, yo, I got this secured card through Capital One. I was like, okay, what's a secured card?
yep.
So he's like, look, I'm gonna just send you the link. And then I ended up applying for the secured card. With a secured card, you actually have to put a deposit down on it. That's why it's called secured. So, however much you put for your deposit is how much you'll be able to get. I put like $500 so I can have a $500 balance on my Capital One card. And I started using it. I still didn't have financial literacy though, but I knew that I at least needed to pay this off and not let this balance run up. So I started using it. I started using it to put gas in my vehicle. I was buying shit, buying clothes, shoes, and stuff like that. But once again, I was paying it down. At that time, I was working two jobs over the summer. I was working a job. I worked at Napa. I would do that during the day, and then I worked a job at the port of Natchitoches. I went to school at Northwestern State University, and I was working a night job. So I was literally maybe getting like 4 hours of sleep a day that summer. But I was making some good money for a college student. It was like the most money that I was making at that time of my life. But once again, lacking financial literacy. I was buying shoes. I was buying everything that I hadn't had up until that time because I was like, "Yo, I'm making money, dog. Like
Right,
this is
right.
what you do."
Yep.
So fast forward, I started actually increasing my credit score by using this credit card and reporting positive credit history. But I also had to figure out, okay, what do I do with this credit card? That's whenever I started to learn, after 7 years, it's supposed to fall off of your report anyway. So I got it removed off my report, and then it started to, increase. But even after graduating college, I still wasn't fully financially literate. I graduated, I moved to Dallas. That was 2018, beginning of 2018. I moved to Dallas, and I was living with my line brother trying to find a job. I ended up becoming a car salesman out there. And at that time, I was making like $2,500 a month right off the bat, because they just give you a stipend for like 3 months as a car salesman. And then that fourth month is whenever you go full commission. So like it's like eat what you kill. And at that time, I ended up getting a second credit card through Chase. And once again, spending on it. At that time, I was letting the balances get a little bit up there. And I ended up buying I actually bought this Apple Watch off that Chase card. I bought an Apple Watch. I bought other stuff. But once again, I ended up paying it down because I was making money. And I got to that fourth month. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I kind of got scared. I was like, I don't know if I'll be able to actually be successful in this. And I'm talking to like some of the finance guys in there. And I have it in my mind, like, yo, what do I need to do to be successful? I'm like, what did you do to get a good credit score? I see you driving this car. I see you're doing this. The guy told me, you need to get more bills. I was like, what the fuck you mean I need to get more bills? He's like, how much are your bills a month? I was like, I'm paying like maybe $1,500 a month, maybe at max. I was like, I don't have, because once again, I'm living my life, but I'm giving him some bread to live there, but it's not a lot. I didn't have a car note at the time. I had my cell phone bill, and I was building up savings, but I wasn't like saving a lot at that time. I didn't have a structure of like, this is how much I should save. This is the percentage that I should be using to invest. I didn't even know about investing at that time. So he was like, you should just get more bills. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get more bills.
Yeah.
Wrong. I shouldn't have never done that. But I ended up, once again, I got more credit card bills and more debt and stuff like that. I wasn't getting the right type of bills. So fast forward, I actually ended up moving back to Louisiana. And David, one of my partner with Black Earth Renaissance, he actually been my best friend since like 8th grade. He was kind of in the same space. He ended up graduating around the same time as me. He was working at Cracker Barrel, but he was like, yo, I need you to read this book. Of course, it's the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Yep. I read it. I'm like, yo, why the fuck nobody ever told us this shit? Why nobody ever told me, I'm not supposed to work for money. I'm supposed to have my money work for me.
Yep.
Why didn't nobody tell me that? And all throughout this time, college and stuff, I did have in my mind that I want to own real estate. There was always something that I had within me, is that I want to own real estate, and I don't want to have to work for money, but I did understand the rules of the game.
Yeah.
And that's what Rich Dad, Poor Dad did for me. It gave me the rules of the game. But then there's also another book called The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yep.
And The Richest Man in Babylon actually gave me a financially literacy structure. That's whenever I started to figure out, okay, I need to at least save a minimum of 10% of my money. I need to take 20% of my money. I need to pay off my debts. Yep. I need to put, I need to use 70% to live off of, or whatever, my mix is. And David's favorite quote, and that he told me about this quote before I read that book. He was like, do you have the mind of a free man, or do you have the mind of a slave? And whenever I read and got to that part too, I was like, damn, that shit really just stuck with me. Like, who are you internally? Are you a person who wants to be free? Are you a person who wants to obtain freedom? Are you going to be a slave to debt? Are you going to be a slave to bills? Things of that nature. So that's my financial journey. That's what took me up into before we created Black Wealth Renaissance. That's like really all of the things that opened up my eyes and really just, as people would say,
Essentially,
awoken that third eye.
yeah, for sure. Essentially, what got you to this point was exposure. So you started off, essentially with your line brother talking about credit, exposure with the coworker, kind of giving you kind of bad game about adding more liabilities, adding more bills, and so you learned through personal experience, and now essentially four of y'all took y'all's personal experiences and combined all that into a podcast, and not just a podcast, but essentially to an information network to help others not go some of the same. Like I said, I have Rich Dad Poor Dad, Richest Man in Babylon. Those like seminal texts for anybody who's either wants to be financially free or an entrepreneur or something like that, or just have their stuff squared away. So exposure, essentially, like for example, me, I didn't really truly know about investing for real until I was in the military and I was in my basic officer course. And that's the course you go to when you're a lieutenant after you graduate from college. And I had a buddy of mine who's an Asian guy, and he showed me his not 401k, his Roth IRA balance, and it had like 40 grand in there, something crazy, $50,000 in it. And he was like 22, 21, 22 ish or something like that. And I was like, damn, man, like how do you know how to invest? How do you know about, like, he was like, here's this index fund, here's this mutual fund, et cetera, the S&P 500. And I was like, how'd you learn that? He was like, my dad taught me. And I was like, bruh, I don't even have a dad. My dad didn't teach me shit, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just exposure, man. And so you guys created, so Black Wealth Renaissance now is a massive platform. When it's coming up, I view it as on the same level of Earn Your Leisure and other podcasts that teach you how to build wealth. What was that like, building that platform with your friends, with your buddies?
Man, that platform, building it, honestly, it was a lot of trial and error. It was a lot of hard work. And even before we started building that, me and David, we started a wholesaling company before that. So after reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, we tried to wholesale and try to get into real estate. It didn't work out. But in the midst of us doing that, David and Jared started Black Wealth Renaissance 2018. October 31st, 2018 is whenever they created the Instagram page. It was literally just an Instagram page, and they were just sharing the information that we were consuming, right? That we got from the books, and we saw what was working for other people. We ended up following people like Charles Ogilvy, people like Andre Hatchett. We found Charm City Buyers. We had found Terry Ijeoma. We started seeing all of these people, and they all had a similar, story, and they were all kind of doing the same thing. So we was like, okay, we know obviously what the books are talking about works. So in that process of us doing the wholesaling or whatever, David would also be making content for Black Wealth Renaissance. And I'd be like, yo, what you doing over there, dog? Like, what's going on there? But I wasn't on the team yet. I didn't really fully jump in on the team until January of 2019, when we had a wholesale deal go bad. We lost some money and everything like that. But I joined the team, and after joining the team, it was really just like I said, a lot of late nights, figuring out, okay, how do you make content? Instagram was very different back then. It was a more predominantly photo-based and long form. Like IGTVs was just starting to come around. It was really like, it was like 60-second videos was like the longest that they was doing. They had just introduced the swipe feature where you can actually, I don't even know if you could do videos and swipe at the same time. But so we were learning the content game. We were learning how to produce content that people could resonate with. And so it took hours of being locked in, figuring out, okay, how can we take some information that we saw in Rich Dad Poor Dad? How can we find a celebrity, or how can we find someone that the culture would resonate with, and what we would call is putting the medicine in the candy? How can we find a person like Rick Ross talking about, yo, I own 30 checkers and 30 wing stops and whatever like that. How can we find that, make the clip and put it on the page and get traction and open up people's mind? So literally, I was working at a car dealership. I wasn't a salesman at that time. I was working in the car in the parts department. So I would go to work. I would be to work from 7 to 5. Then we would get off of work, be locked in from 6 to 11. We're doing content, we're going live, and we're just figuring out, okay, really fine tuning, tinkering with the formula, and then figuring out, okay, what content work, what doesn't work. And then our first breakthrough was whenever Dame Dash actually reposted a post that we had posted on the page.
That's dope.
And he posted it and we was like, oh shit, niggas, we really might be on to some shit.
Yeah.
It was like, if we're on people's like this radar, we might be on to some shit, right? Then March of 2019, we ended up starting our podcast, right? And we started our podcast and we did it because we saw the conversations that we were having on Instagram was important. We was like, how do we extend these dialogues? How do we take it from just content of like a 60-second clip or just an infographic or something that's explaining a tweet or a caption? How do we actually expound upon that and start to capture more audience? So that's when we started the podcast.
Doing the podcast, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So we started the podcast, and having a platform already, it helped us kind of take off on the podcast a little bit easier than what most people who start a podcast do. So our first episode, I think we got like 300 plays.
Oh wow!
Like, oh shit, we cooking with some shit.
Yeah.
And another part that made us realize that what we were doing was important and being received in a positive light is we had a guy from Bermuda hit us up. He was like, yo, I love what y'all talking about. He's like, how do I do this shit in Bermuda? I was like, bro, nigga from Bermuda just hit us up.
Yeah, you reached yeah.
I'm like, I ain't never been to Bermuda, dog. So I never forget his name either. His name was Badi Barbera. He hit us up on the page. And then that's whenever it really just was like, okay, yo, this could really be big. Like this could be something that we can really make a lot of impact.
How many countries are y'all in now? Do you know? Or not how many, but can you name some of them? Can you name some of the countries?
Yeah, I can. Hold on. I even tap in the anchor right quick.
Yeah, because
I know for sure.
Stats. I'll tell you what.
I know.
Huh?
No, you go.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I really do enjoy listening to y'all's podcast. And more so flash forwarding a little bit because you got the pandemic, which had a lot of people kind of sitting inside the house, kind of slowed down, consuming a lot of content as well. And then the thing for me that I talk about all the time was that brunch that y'all did last July. Mm-hmm. Man, that was critical. That was like, like I said, you see people on the internet all day long. You see them tweeting and stuff like that, YouTube or et cetera. But speaking to people in real life and solid people too that are doing good things, and meeting them in real life and kind of sharing their energy makes you realize like, wow, I'm not the only person out here. So what was that like, setting up that brunch and getting everybody together from the logistics to the marketing, the networking, I mean, everything. What was that like for y'all?
So honestly, that brunch, man, that should happen off of like a whim. Damn it. Why can't I think of my brother's name right now? Hartrimony.
Yeah.
So Anthony ended up tweeting, yo, we should do something. We need a meetup or something in Dallas. Because prior to that, we had done a few meetups too. But he was like, we need a meetup or whatever. So Andre Hatcher was like, I'm game, let's make it happen. Then I came in, I was like, fuck it, let's do it. And then we all got in the group text. And then we was just like, okay, what's going to be the name of it? I think we ended up calling it Bosses and Brunch. And then from there, all three of us, we ended up game planning. It was like, okay, we need a location. Anthony knew the person with the restaurant where we went to Pangea. He knew the either the owner or like the manager or whatever. So he was like, yo, I'm gonna reach out to my guy. And then we wanted to do a live podcast because that was something that we had been wanting to do because we had moved to Dallas from Louisiana at that time to reestablish our home base and be in a bigger city so we can reach a larger network. So that was like one of the first live podcasts that we had done. So we was like, if we gonna bring people in, we at least want to expose our show. We had our show, Xavier, Millionaire Mindsets, they had that show. And Dre had his show as well, Hatcher's Way. So we was like, okay, we can collab on that as well. So I hit up Zay. I was like, yo, would you like to be a part of this? He's like, yeah, I'm game. So we ended up finding a separate location for where we can record the podcast. And the way we found that location, like 2 weekends prior to that, we ended up going to an event for a venture capitalist startup. They were doing a pitch competition, and at the place, we ended up networking, talking to people, telling them what we do, and was talking to the owners of that spot. And after that, I was like, yo, I think that this would be dope to do something in the future. So I ended up hitting them up. They were free that weekend. The venue wasn't booked. So he's like, okay, we got the venue for this. We got the venue for that. Now, what do we need to do to market? To market, David and I, we're really good at building websites. I'm not going to not coding websites, but building websites that's drag and drop on
building your landing pages and stuff like that.
Yeah, landing pages and stuff like that. So from just building Black Wealth Renaissance, we got really good at those type of skills. I'm good at automating with email and shit like that. So we knew we needed a landing page. We knew we needed to capture people's information to tell them about it. So that was another thing. It was like, okay, we need a landing page. We need to capture their emails so we can tell them about it. We ended up really just building up the hype about it. It was like, okay, we all got these platforms. Let's start talking about it. So we sent a tweet from the Black Wealth Renaissance podcast Twitter page and was like, yo, us, Xavier, Andre Hatchett, we got some shit we about to cook up on y'all. And then we just put like bosses and brunch. And then it was like, sign up on this email list so you can stay tuned. And then while we're doing that, that's when we're doing the logistics, getting everything together. And then we built the landing page and we built we use like Eventbrite, I think, for the ticketing and everything. And then we came up with like, yo, we're going to come up with a special menu just so people can have these choices to order from at the restaurant so we don't have a stupid high bill, but that didn't work out. But it all worked out in our favor. And then really, it was really organic, man. It was just like us coming together. We started seeing where people were buying tickets from. It was like, oh shit, there's people coming from Chicago, people coming from Detroit. We got people coming from El Paso. We got people pulling up from Arkansas, from Cali. So it's like, man, this shit's about to be dope. And it ended up being think about 40 to 50 people.
It was like a good 50 people there.
Yeah. Like 40 to 50 people pulled up, and it was really just good vibes. Like you stated, it was good to be around that energy. It was good to feel people because, as you stated, Zoom is one thing, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people can fake the funk on Zoom, but whenever your aura, whatever you're vibrating at, whatever is within you, you feel that whenever you're by a person, right? Like it's different whenever you actually speaking to them, and they might take a little minute to process some shit. Whenever you feel like, oh, you should actually know this off the top of your head or whatever. So it's different. And then you also get around people who can show you and open up. They can open up their QuickBooks and show you, yo, I just did $1 million in revenue. Let me show you on my phone.
Yeah.
So it's different.
No fake screenshots, no Photoshop stuff.
Yeah, no, like I'm on the app right now. And it's different whenever you're having those different conversations as well. Because like, okay, how did you do that?
Yeah.
Because sometimes even on podcasts, people don't give all the way they don't give all the sauce.
Yeah.
Because they feel like, yo, I'm gonna be creating my competition or whatever. But whenever you in those rooms, those closed rooms, shit gets shared. Like the real sauce is where is is what gets shared.
I mean, honestly, that is, and I'm gonna transition in a second, but that was one of the points where I decided that I was gonna make a course. It was two instances where I decided I was gonna make Paternity University, and it was talking to Annalisa and Andre. Were both there, and they were like, "Oh, you're the DNA guy." You know, Andre has met me before, and I was like, "Yeah." And then they were like, I think Annalisa was like, "Are you gonna make a course about that?" Because I made a course and this and this and that, and I was like, nah, you know, I'm not like that course guy. I don't want to be that guru dude. I'm not really feeling that. And they were like, "All right, whatever." And then, you know, next thing you know, a couple months later, I got a course.
That's funny. You want me to tell you what's funny about that?
Yeah.
It was me and Andre Hatchett that made Annalisa make her course.
Look at that.
I played a background on a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
I definitely help.
I think you said it to me too. I think when I met you very briefly, I think you said sort of kind of the same thing, like, "Oh, you're the guy that talks about DNA testing." Okay, cool. And I think you said something like, "Maybe you can make a course one day." Maybe I was drinking a bunch of mimosas. I don't know.
We always drinking a lot.
But lots of ideas were flowing, and like you said, it was very organic. And I think you guys are holding one again. I don't know if I'll be able to make, but whenever you guys hold another one, I'll for sure come by, because I'm way out in the desert, man, in El Paso by myself. You know, there are I only know of one other Black entrepreneur in El Paso, period. Like it doesn't exist out there is no community out here.
It's probably more people than what you think, though.
Probably
it's just not the environment for people to do that. So like what led up to Bosses and Brunch again is we had an event like early 2021. We had an event. It was like one of the first events after, you know, mandates and people were starting to get comfortable with actually coming outside. Was like, we got to capitalize on this. Texas is open. It was one of the only states that was open. People wasn't giving a damn. I ain't gonna lie. Some people wasn't giving a damn about masks. I was one of those people. I was like, you know, fuck it, whatever. And we're like, but we still, for that first event, we was like, okay, we're gonna do COVID arenas. We're gonna test for temperatures. We're gonna tell people to wear their masks. Right. And we ended up having a successful event. And people was like, yo, Dallas not having nothing like this. So even with you saying you ain't have it in El Paso, people in Dallas felt like they didn't have those type of atmospheres. And so we was like, once again, we have something to offer the market and to offer people. And there's like, we really just love this for Black people, because Dallas is a socialite city. A lot of people, you know, want to socialize, and that's how you really, you make those connections and stuff like that. But a lot of people, it's kind of like they want to flex. They weren't having those organic conversations, really talking about wealth and stuff like that. They were more so maybe talking about how, you know, you can get some drip and shit like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, all right. So transitioning, especially into the skills portion of this, a few months ago, I remember you tweeted a good heartwarming story about kind of how you were coming up and you kind of gained some things, you lost some things, and that is how you found the insurance adjusting industry, essentially. Tell us a little bit about that, and then tell us about what it's like being an insurance adjuster, because you're on a deployment now. Tell us like what that transition was like, because I think David is as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
Tell us about your story into that.
So my story into that, right? So I first learned about insurance adjusting. I was actually in college because my cousin is an insurance adjuster.
Okay.
Her husband's an insurance adjuster, and my mom's actually an insurance adjuster.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I wasn't listening to them though. Once again, I was being a young kid, feeling like I got life figured out. But that was my first introduction into insurance adjusting. Fast forward, a person that the timeline doesn't like to talk about, B came on our podcast, and he was like, yo, this is how I built my real estate portfolio. I went work a deployment, and I put all that money, and I started wholesaling as well. I was like, shit, this nigga done did it. I can do it. So I ended up going get my license like either a month or two after that podcast interview with him. And I got my license. That was 2019, but I sat on it. I didn't do anything with it, and I just had it sitting chilling. And then fast forward, Black Wealth Renaissance is doing well and everything. I quit my job. And that's whenever I moved to Dallas, I quit my job to really build Black Author Renaissance up. But this is, hey, everybody who's listening to this shit, y'all need to listen up.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things that people don't tell you in entrepreneurship is, because I tweeted this from the Black Author Renaissance page. A lot of people being sold a dream right now with entrepreneurship. If your shit not really up and running, if your shit not really producing the amount of income that it takes to sustain the business and pay you, stay at that damn day job. Anyways, I quit my day job, right? And I moved back to Dallas. I moved with my line brother again, the same line brother from the earlier story. We always holding each other down, like really all of us. But he let me move in. And that's whenever me and David, we started networking in Dallas hard, because it was like, we need people to know who we is. We need people to understand what we do. And we actually were having some great months, but we wasn't paying ourselves. We didn't start paying ourselves until like mid 2021 from Black Author Renaissance. And it had been a business since, our official business since like 2019. But, you know, we building the business, we doing a lot of work. We out here moving and shaking at different events and things like that, but we're not drawing money. So I didn't have a job at that time. My job was Black Author Renaissance. I ended up during that holiday season of like 2020, I ended up working at UPS, doing a contract for like holiday work and shit like that. Got a little bread in my pocket. And all that time, I was actually going in debt. I was getting behind on my truck notes. My credit was starting to fall behind because I was actually financing a life off of credit cards. I had access to it. So I was living off my credit cards and everything like that, right? Now at this time, I know what I need to be doing, because once again, we building this business. Our whole thing is financial literacy. And we're seeing 20K months, 30K months, once again, not paying ourselves. We're investing. Our whole thing was all money in. Let's invest until we get to that point where we can pay ourselves.
Yeah.
And we just was sticking with it and really just going through that grind, like struggle story or whatever. And we doing this, doing that. And we're seeing 30K months. I think our biggest month was like 35 at one point. And we're doing that, not getting paid. We hire VAs to help run the business to be smooth, so we can continue going out and actually networking and to continue bringing in business, continue forming those relationships that's going to take the business to the next level. We didn't have the time to do the content anymore. We didn't have the time to chop up everything, right? And that put me in a situation where I'm now head over heels. I'm feeling like I'm about to lose my truck. I'm feeling like I had a credit card that ended up going in collections on me. I had another one that was about to do the same thing. So now I'm just like, damn, I'm toe up, dog. Like, I'm fucked up. Like, and I got to a point where I'm feeling like, how can I help other people? And I can't even help myself right now.
Yeah.
And that was actually after, like, around Bosses and Brunch. Y'all didn't know this, but I'm feeling all of this. I'm depressed. Like, it's not doing what I needed to do. It's some other stuff that was going on as well. And it was just like a lot of baggage, a lot of weight on my shoulders. And I'm like, fuck, man, like, what am I going to do? And I was like, okay, I'm going to just start learning how to get into tech, because I saw people talking about tech and everything. And I started actually learning coding. I started practicing on SQL and everything. And not to brag or whatever, but I'm a person that once I do shit, I go deep in it. Like, I'm going to want to be the best. I want to be a top performer. I've always been that way in my life. Sometimes I might get bored and I might bullshit. I might slack. But whenever I really apply myself, like, I'm gonna go be one of the top dogs. So I'm actually learning. I'm getting good. But then I'm like, how long is this going to take me to actually land a job and do all of this, right? And then something dawned on me. Actually, I ended up tapping into Stacy. Steven. Stacy is another insurance person. But I tapped into one of Steven's spaces on Instagram. And he was talking about insurance adjusting. He's like, yeah, man, one of my homies just made 100 bands in 6 months. I said, wait a fucking minute.
Yeah, you're like, hold on now.
I said, time out. flying on the fucking plane. I said, what you mean, dog? He said, yeah, I'll show you the screenshot. So I'm like, yo, I've been having this license since 2019. It's time to get it popping and time to get it working. And another little sidebar, I actually had tried to get on an insurance deployment in 2020 when the Hurricane Laura and stuff came through Louisiana. But once again, I had just moved to Texas. So I had applied for my Louisiana state license for insurance adjuster, but I put that my resident state was Texas, but I still had a Louisiana license because the state was shut down for COVID, and I couldn't get my license transferred over until like the next year. The next available appointment was like 2021. So Louisiana, they fucked me. I couldn't be licensed to actually operate in the state. So I couldn't get on a deployment that year. But the next year, 2021, I had got everything figured out. I got everything situated, and I actually, I was in alignment. And that's another thing that I feel like I'm a faith-based person. I feel like God puts you in positions to make you be in alignment with Him. And I finally took the pride off of me, and I just was like, you know what, God, let me do what you're telling me to do. Because I felt like He's been telling me, to go work and go get at least until a point where, once again, you can help yourself, and then you'll be allowed to help others. So I got everything in alignment. I had my licenses and everything. And after Boston's and Brunch, that was the end of July.
Yeah.
So after that, I ended up applying for a lot of rosters and everything because that prior year I had got my State Farm certification. I got my State Farm certification for property and auto that prior year. So I was already like ready to go for insurance deployment. I ended up just calling a lot of firms. I was getting on different rosters and stuff. And like literally, when I tell you every day, I was calling them like, yo, y'all got a deployment? Yo, y'all got a deployment? Like, it was to the point where I needed this shit more than I needed to breathe. I needed a deployment that bad because I felt like I was in that position.
Yeah.
And like, I ended up I started my deployment August 14th, a day before my little brother's birthday. So it took me like 2 weeks to actually land that deployment. And once I landed it, I faked it until I make it. I ain't gonna lie. I told them I knew what I was doing. I was like, yeah, I've been on a deployment before all of this or whatever. But once I got there, once again, I felt like I needed this more than I needed to breathe. So I was like, I'm not here to bullshit. I'm not here to play. What I gotta do, I'm a new, fresh adjuster, but they gave you like resources in a library and stuff to learn what you need to do for the process. And at first, I was asking questions to people who were there and everything, because I'm a person, I'm always ask a question. But then I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm gonna take some time from this training time. I'm gonna sit here and I'm actually read through everything. I ended up reading through it. I was like, okay, this is the process. This is not really that hard. I was just like, it's boom, boom, boom. So then I ended up actually starting to apply myself. And they only give you like 3 days of training, by the way, for you. Like, it's like 3 days of training, then you in the fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's 3 days of training, throw your ass into the fire. You started taking claims. And I ain't gonna lie, I was afraid, but I wasn't afraid to mess up because coming from being an entrepreneur, I had to mess up every day to figure out what the fuck was going on. Yeah. I didn't have anyone to look up to say, okay, is this how this is done? Is this an okay decision? Or I didn't have any standard operating procedures for me to operate in to say, okay, this is what's supposed to be done. At the job, I had all of those things.
Yeah.
I could operate, and I was like, even if I mess up, I know that there's a way to 9 times out of 10 reverse what I did.
Yeah.
So I wasn't afraid to mess up and really just jump head into it. So I ended up, just started taking claims or whatever. And I ended up staying on that deployment to like February of this year. Okay. So I learned a lot. I actually had a lot of opportunities within that time. We had a few hurricanes that came through, and people was like, yeah, man, I'm leaving this deployment. I'm about to go here, because they was chasing the quick money. They was paying like $4,500 a week on some of those deployments. But in my mind, I'm like, once again, I want to be good at this shit. I want to be great at this shit. So I'm going to stay at this deployment. It's work from home.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't gotta go out and spend money to be in a place, and I can stack my bread, and then I can really just learn the craft, learn the skill. So I did that throughout that, and I really just started getting good at it. I understood the process, all of this was doing auto claims. I didn't do property. I actually did get switched over to a special team on that deployment, and I did like some inside property, but that's another conversation for another day. But all that to say is I actually honed my skills and I was like, I want to be good at this shit. And then my deployment ended in February. I got released because they were starting to slow down on the work and everything. Claims were starting to come in slower. I got released. And I actually was able to take a whole month off because working an insurance deployment, sometimes like you'll get, it's a very high stress job. I'm not going to lie to you. Like that deployment was very high stress. I'm working 6 days a week, 10-hour shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm locked in though. Like I'm like, yo, I gotta pay off this debt. I need to get back to straight. I need to be able to invest. I need to have a savings. Like my savings goal was like, I need to be able to build up to at least 3 bands off of this deployment.
Mm-hmm.
I built up to 3 bands. I paid off my truck note. I caught up on it. I ended up paying off some other stuff. So it gave me a sense of relief. Like all of that shit was just off my shoulders. So whenever I got released, I actually was like, you know what? I got money. I ended up moving to an apartment. I got my own apartment at that time. So like I was just in a sense of peace. I was like, I'm about to take at least a month off and really just, take some time to myself and refine myself, re-get some ground.
Recenter yourself.
Yeah. So I did that. And then while doing that, I ain't gonna lie, I was spending money on paying for bills and paying for everything like that. So I was like, upon my month or whatever, I was like, okay, now it's time for me to start finding another deployment.
Yeah.
I actually tweeted about this, I think, yesterday. There's this, shout out to Stacy, the other insurance adjuster I told you about. He told me about this virtual assistant that will get you on a whole bunch of firms.
Mm-hmm.
You pay $90. I paid her. Man, within 24 to 48 hours, I had a deployment offer to come to Tennessee to come work, making $40 an hour, working a minimum of 50 hours with option of 8+ hours of overtime. And then they were paying me per diem to be out here, $170 a day. And I got a big whiteboard at my apartment and I had written out my goals and stuff for the year. One of my goals was make $10,000 a month. And this deployment was the perfect opportunity for me to make that $10,000 a month. It was really like $14,000 before taxes. I was like, shit. Once again, being in alignment, being obedient, and just really writing it down, making it plain. I was like, shit, I might as well take it. I hadn't been to Tennessee. I had my savings and stuff. So I came out to Tennessee. I was staying in an extended stay. I ain't gonna lie, the extended stay was shitty, dog. It was like, I wouldn't say Roach Motel, but it was damn near a step above it, man.
You gotta do what you gotta do to get where you want to get. It's part of the journey.
Exactly. I'm paying like $500 a week. And that's whenever I started digging into my savings, paying $500 a week. I had to pay to eat, pay to live out here, pay for gas and shit. Because the first few weeks, my first week, I came in like they had just got paid whenever I got there. So, or like it was, they had just got paid. And I ended up coming, I only worked like 4 days. So my next check, I only had 4 days worth of money on that check. It was like $1,000. Once again, though, it gave me enough relief to where I was like, okay, I can actually pay for my place to live. And I got money for food and everything now. Like, it's good. I know this next check that I come through, like, we about to make this thing shake. So while doing that, I ended up looking for places to live. I was looking for like, I was looking on Furnish Finder. Any IA out there, y'all go on a deployment, I suggest y'all look at Furnish Finder. A lot of traveling nurses use it. It's like basically like Airbnbs, but for long-term stays. Most Furnish Finders require you to do a 30-month stay per, not 30-month, 30-day stay per time. So I was looking at that, but a lot of them weren't in the vicinity of where I was working at. So I was like, damn, man, I don't want to keep on staying at this damn hotel. Like, I'm ready to get the fuck up out of here. Like, it's just bullshit. Bullshit after bullshit was happening there. And then I ended up talking to a guy on the deployment. I was like, yo, you found a place to stay? He's like, nah, man, I'm actually still looking too. So we ended up finding an apartment here, and we ended up signing another thing. Once again, I'm always strategic. I was like, we need to find a place though that's going to at least allow us to do a 3-month lease.
Yeah.
Because being an insurance adjuster, you never know how long your time is.
Yep.
And I didn't want to be locked into something for 12 months or 6 months.
Yep.
So I was like, we need to find something that's going to allow us to do a 3-month lease. And we were looking all over. There were some places, but like none of them was allowing us to do it. And then one day on my lunch break, I'm just driving. I said, what is this? It was like some apartment complex all in the cut. Like they freshly built 2020, like nice amenities, everything. I pull up here. I was like, yo, y'all do 3-month leases? It's like, yeah, you might have to pay like a little bit more. I was like, okay, that's cool. I don't care about that. Yeah. And like, when I tell you the apartment is nice, granite countertops, hardwood flooring, like tile backsplash. We both got our own bedrooms and everything. And all together, we paying like maybe $1,000 a month, like a piece on us. So I'm able to pocket a lot of my money. And it really just was like, once again, it all just came into play. It all just aligned. And I said the 3-month thing because like 2 weeks ago, they actually told us our deployment is ended on September 30th. So he came, told me, he's like, bro, I'm glad you were smart with that shit. He's like, man, we played it smart. I was like, hey, one thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be strategic, but I always feel like God he orders my footsteps.
That's dope, man. Like, so we're talking about insurance adjusting. For those probably watching, look, I have another video. I actually interviewed Stephen Story, who has the insurance adjusting course. But an insurance adjuster is essentially, to my understanding, whenever somebody submits a claim for their insurance, something happens to their home or their car, to get to a car accident, that insurance adjuster is the person who essentially determines the damage and determines how much you get paid out, if you do get paid out at all from that situation. Correct? That's
yeah. So they determine the damage, but they're not the person that's saying, you know, this is just how much you're getting paid. Like, you also have policy limits and everything. So the insurance adjuster has to be knowledgeable of how to understand your policy limits and everything like that as well.
Okay, got you. So, I mean, with that being said, that skill set, you know, going back to the Skills Make You Mills series title, that skill set is always in demand. Like, I don't think there's ever going to be, guys, we don't ever need insurance adjusters, either staff or independent insurers. We'll never need that. You know, people are just not ever gonna get into car accidents, or there's never gonna be a hurricane or a tornado ever again, or there's never gonna
I'm gonna give you damage. I'm gonna give you a little bit. Like, even whenever I got into the industry, I didn't understand the depth that insurance adjusting goes into. Right? I was just like, oh, it's just auto property. But let's say you got traveler's insurance, right?
Yeah.
Whenever 2020 happened, what happened to a lot of travel plans and everything? That shit got canceled, right?
Yeah.
People started submitting claims. Insurance adjusters were needed for that. You got insurance on this, right?
Oh, yeah.
Anything that has insurance attached to it and a claim has to be filed,
boats.
There's an insurance adjuster. Exactly. There's marine insurance. There's crop insurance. There's people who go out and adjust if you had a bad year or if all your crops died randomly. There's someone who goes out and adjusts all of that. Like, there's an adjuster for almost anything tied to insurance.
I love it. And that's what I'm saying. This industry is not going anywhere. And
I said that
this is not I don't think it'll be like fully automated. I don't think like robots are going to take over and all that. I think you still need a human element of this in this industry. So it's dope because we in the military, we say shot to bang, but essentially the time frame that it from when you got your license to the time you started taking it seriously and applying to these rosters, what, by the way, for the people that may not know, what does that mean, applying to rosters, and what does it mean to be an independent insurance adjuster versus somebody who works directly for a State Farm, like a W-2 employee? What's the difference?
I got you. So once again, like you just said, there's staff and there's independent. A staff worker is basically, a regular job. Like you got a 9 to 5, you're not 9 times out of 10, you're not working weekends, you're getting benefits, like it's a job, like a regular job. Independent with auto, I'm still considered a W-2 worker. I still get paid like a W-2 worker. But with being an independent adjuster, you take a risk, right? Like with a job, like you got to do some shit to be fine. Like you got
Yeah.
to do whatever to be fine. With an independent adjuster, it's more like a mercenary, right? We're coming in because a carriers, let's just say Farm, Liberty Mutual, Progressive, or whatever, they're experiencing a high claim demand. So we're mercenaries. We're coming to chop down all of their claim
Mhm.
load. And then once that claim load is now contained and once it is now under control, your job done. It's on to the next. Or let's say there's a severe hurricane that comes through. And once again, it rises that claim load. So now you got millions of home claims, millions of flood claims. So now, once again, you got to hire the mercenaries to come in to get all of that under control so the staff adjusters can work the way that they need to work. So that's the difference. You're taking that risk to where, I'm working to work myself out of a job versus being a staff adjuster. I'm working so I can make sure I keep this job.
I like the mercenary. I like that. That's dope.
I did that for you.
I like that. No, that's dope. That makes sense, man. And I mean, I've seen a couple of people on the timeline become adjusters and basically change their life because the income in it is vast. What
Mhm.
has been your income, if you don't mind saying, what has been the type of money that you have made either in numbers, or do you
Yeah, I know.
yeah.
So like my first deployment, right, from August to December, I made like $44,000.
It's not bad. It's not bad at all.
That's like a regular person's salary. Like
Yeah,
some people in Louisiana know they get paid that for a year.
yeah, for a
So
year. Yeah.
I was like, damn, dog, I just made this in this short time frame. And then now I've been working at this deployment since August. Not August, since April. So mid-April is whenever I started. April, May, June, July. What the
3 months.
three months, right? I made $38,000 in those 3 months.
3 months, 38,000. Like we're okay, you know what I'm saying? And like that's the thing. I really don't think there are other careers to where you can get licensed or kind of start it, get your certification, get your credentials, get into something, and within a certain amount of time, you're making 10, 9, 10, $11,000 a month. Like, and it's legit. I mean, yes,
Yeah.
it might be shorter term contractual work, but there's always a need for it, and there's always
Mm-hmm.
deployments. And as long as you know how to get on those deployments, as long as you're not, unethical, illegal, or immoral, or a complete shitbag, you should be employable. Like
Mm-hmm.
generally, and that can change your life. If you're making 38 bands in 3 months, I mean, as long as you can manage it, and you're not, spending it on everything when you're there, you should be good. Like,
I'm trying to tell you, and that's something that I do feel like a person who is coming into insurance adjusting, you definitely should have a personal conversation with yourself about your personal finances, about understanding how to manage your money. Because going from an influx of making like $3,000 a month to making $12,000 a
yeah,
month,
yeah,
you see that excess income, you like, oh, I'm about to turn the fuck up. Like
yeah,
I'm about to be out. But what I told myself whenever I took this deployment, I need to save $10,000 before I leave here.
yeah,
I need to be building up my investments. And that was something that I was doing on my last deployment too. I was building up my investments. I got a spreadsheet where I'm like, every time I get paid, this is the money that I'm allocating towards this. This is the money I'm allocating towards that. Like I save $1,000 each check.
yep,
Every check is a minimum of 1,000. Sometimes I might do a little bit more, but it's a minimum of 1,000. I don't care if I gotta live like I was broke before.
yeah,
I've been at the worst of the worst. It ain't no worse that I can get. Like I know how to make shit stretch. So with me making this type of money, I'm like, yo, I'm changing my life for forever with this.
Yeah.
And another goal that I wrote on my board for this year is I need to close me a real estate deal. As I said before, like that's still something that I want to do in my life. I want to build up a real estate portfolio. So like with making this type of money, you gotta have a plan for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just come work and get stuck thinking that you're gonna be a W-2 worker for the rest of your life with this. Like a lot of people, well, for me, I take this as a gateway to level up, get in, get out. My plan is do this for 3 to 5 years. I really want to get good within my first year to where, as you said, I have a great reputation in the industry. Every time I'm on a deployment, I'm networking with people. If I get a claim from somebody that was transferred to me, I reach out to those people. I ask what was going on, what happened. Sometimes I might really know what's going on. I read the notes, but I'm still gonna reach out to you to be like, okay, can you explain to me like some of the missing pieces that's not there? And then I network. I say, hey, my name is Jalen. I do this or whatever. Like that's something that I always do. Every person that I actually have a real deep conversation with on a deployment, I get their number and I say, look, here my number, here my email address. Whenever this over, if you come across something, let me know. If I come across something, I'm gonna let you know. And I always keep that organic, genuine connection with people because I want to be able to get in and get out. And in the next 3 to 5 years, I want to have me a solid real estate portfolio. So whenever it's time to get out the game, I ain't got to worry about going back to where I came from.
And then
I'm also building Black Wealth Renaissance still
absolutely at the same time. At the same time. So exactly, like I said, going back to the title of the series, Skills Make You Mills. What Jalen is talking about, y'all, is soft and hard skills. So the technical skills and the soft skills. Things that he learned from college, from the fraternity, from building Black Wealth Renaissance, networking, speaking to people, how to win friends and influence people, soft skills, that's necessary. And then the technical skill of insurance adjusting. That stuff's never, ever going to go away. It's never going to go away. And that is what is going to make you millions. It is. That is these skills literally will make you mills.
Really?
And I, real quick thing is, I did the same thing. I went on a real deployment. Well, correction. I'm not gonna say a real deployment. I went on a military deployment. All right. Mm-hmm. I went to Iraq 2016, 2017. It wasn't bad. Like I was a logistician. I wasn't kicking down no doors. I wasn't, doing any of that stuff.
Still, man, hostile environment for me. I was do
it. When I landed, when I deployed, I landed on the base in Iraq, and you're used to being, I lived in Atlanta at the time, and so you're used to big city bright lights. And I landed, and it was just dark. It was like the whole base went dark at night. So the plane thing goes down, and you just see black, and I'm like, what the fuck, And anyway, I went on a military deployment, and I had that exact same mindset you had, right? At the time, I'm 25, 26. At that point was 10 months. 25, 26, and I'm making $6,000, $7,000 a month, tax-free, by the way, tax-free money, okay, out there in Iraq. And I had my plan, same exact thing. Here's my plan.
And then you ain't got living expenses either.
No, I had no living expenses because even I stayed in it's called a container housing unit, a CHU. Military folks will know exactly what I'm talking about. Stayed in a little container. All I had was a full-size mattress, a little locker, and a desk and a lamp. That's all what I fucking had. Okay. I'm making $6,000, $7,000 a month. I had my plan, exact same thing. Put this in my TSP, which is the military 401k, stack this, put this in the Roth IRA, stack this for to buy a rental property. That's exactly what I did. And some people, I was a lieutenant at the time. Some people, they make that money and it's tax-free and they blow it when they get back. I mean, you can come back easy with 60, 70 bands, easy, tax-free, and you can, go crazy. I had a good time. I came back. I took basically 3 months off. I didn't have a job when I came back home. I went to, LA, New Orleans, and Colombia, South America, had a great time. And then I went active duty, stateside here. But yeah, that exact same thing. Had that plan for when you get that money, because money in vast quantities brings out who you really are if you're not careful. You can blow a bag easy. You're like,
I'm glad you said that.
I'm gonna go to the strip club. Like easy. you can blow it if you're not careful. You don't have that plan. So good point on that, Jalen.
I'm glad you said that money does bring out the person in you. And that's something that I've always been a firm believer of. Money only amplifies who you are. And I ain't gonna lie, like I do have an addictive personality. Like, and when I say addictive, it's not just like a bad type of addictive.
Yeah.
Like whenever I want something and whenever I get a taste of something, I'll be like, "Ooh, I like this shit." Like, I love to kayak. Whenever I get on the water and I start kayaking, now I gotta be kayaking every fucking weekend. Or I smoke weed. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll be upfront. Like, I haven't been smoking weed since I've been here because I told myself once again goals. But like whenever I want to smoke, like I'm going to smoke.
You get it.
Or like I used to drink heavy back in college, but I don't let that shit determine who I am because I had to address all of those internal issues. And I had to say, okay, if I'm gonna go make $12,000, what are we gonna do? How's this $12,000? We're gonna make this shit change us, or like what are we really gonna do? So I'm glad you said that.
Set yourself up for the future. So in closing, Jalen, what advice do you have for anybody? Well, you kind of spoke on it throughout, but what further advice do you have for anybody that's either looking to become more financially literate, get into a specific trade, anything? What advice do you have for those folks?
For people who want to become financially literate, you actually got to go on a journey. Like, it's called personal finance because everybody's journey is personal, is going to be different. Don't just look at someone else's situation and be like, oh, I can go do that. Don't get the shiny object syndrome. Remain disciplined. Actually read and understand. There's core principles that have lasted the test of time. You ain't got to deviate from those core principles. If it worked 100 years ago, 9 times out of 10 it's gonna work right now. So understand those principles and really pick up on those, incorporate them into your life. Also, understand that whenever you do get on this personal finance journey, you might want to start sharing with your family and friends. They might not understand it. Just because you starting to see it, don't let that discourage you whenever they telling you that it can't be done and that these things don't work. You gotta have conviction in yourself. You gotta say, okay, I'm on this journey. It is what it is. If they don't get it, I can't lead a heart. I can lead a horse to water, but I can't make them drink. So don't let you get discouraged, right? And then the second question, second part was
into the skills, into a trade. You know what I'm saying? If they want to get into the IA or whatever.
So another thing, like I stated before, like you gotta go deep and become kind of obsessed with this shit. Like I always feel like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna be the best at it. So like in any type of skill, understand how you can make yourself a valuable person in that position. Understand that, I want to read the extra. I might take a little time to read a little bit more so I can understand this policy a little bit better than the coworker next to me. Because when we first come in, we're gonna be friends. But when this deployment starts to wean down, we competition now. So you got to understand how to make yourself that much more competitive and that much more. What is the word that I'm looking for? Fuck, I can't think about it. But you got to understand how to make yourself really
differentiate yourself.
Yes, you got to make yourself look like the best, but not just looking like the best. You got to be able to perform like the best as well.
Major. I would say, and we said this in the Twitter message before, your story is test of a man. And no, I'm not an alpha. I'm not. But your story is the embodiment of test of a man. And you'll continue to do that, man. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your story.
No problem, man.
Thank you for coming on to the podcast, man. It's been a long time planning. But I really appreciate it, man. I'm looking forward to seeing what you continue to do, man, and the dope things that you and the rest of Black Wealth Renaissance is going to do together, man. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Yeah, we definitely got some great things cooking up on Black Wealth Renaissance side. For sure. Got a major deal that I cannot wait to announce.
Sure.
So that's coming. We actually got a conference. It's an all males conference. It's called the Black Men's Summit. We're actually sponsored by Chase. And that's going to be October 22nd out in Dallas. So for all the fellas that's listening to this, it's going to be creating an environment where we can come together as Black men. We can address some issues of what it looks like to be a leader, what it looks like to be a father, what it looks like to address mental health issues as a man, and all of those type of things. So that's coming down the line as well this year. And we cooking up, man. We
I love
cooking.
it. That's my last point too is, man, what I've had to, I'm 31 years old, and what I've had to really absorb and learn recently, especially being a husband, is as a man, we have these, as a man, you may have a desire to be a provider and to make money and be financially literate, all that good. You see all that entrepreneurship, yada yada. But if you don't have your foundation squared away, like what you're talking about for this conference, if you don't have that squared away, you can lose yourself.
It's never, because people don't understand, like that's the most important part. Like people, once again, people been sold a dream on social media, Instagram, TikTok, all of this. They see people going from 0 to 60, but they're not understanding that you got to have a solid foundation. You can have, let's go through just everything that needs a foundation, right? A home. If a home don't have a solid foundation, it begins to crack. And then once it starts to crack, what happens? You're seeing cracks running all through the home. And now you got to go back and refix the foundation. You got to repair everything, right? Fundamentals in sports. If you don't have good footwork, if you're not solid, if you don't have a solid core, you can't win. If you don't understand the fundamentals of shooting, if you don't understand the fundamentals of swinging a baseball, I play baseball. If you don't understand how to line up your knuckles, if you don't understand how to swing golf, if you don't understand how to wrap up when you're hitting somebody for football, if you don't understand none of the fundamentals, you'll never be successful.
It's facts. Yes. Military. That's why they teach you when you're in basic training. This is how you make your bed. You're going to do your corners like this. You're going to do this, fundamentals of discipline. So thank you once again, Jalen. I appreciate it. I'm going to post everything in the show notes, man. I'm going to post this up. People will see it this weekend, today or tomorrow. So thank you. Thank you once again, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, bro. I really enjoyed this.
Absolutely, bro. All right. Hey, look, everybody, if you like this, share it. Share it with somebody. Jalen's story might resonate with somebody that you know, or might resonate with you. Like and subscribe, comment, let us know what you think, and just share it with friends, family, whomever. So thank y'all for tuning in. This is Skills Make You Meals series. I'm out.